Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream, and today I want to talk about the Mayo Cut Plug cards. They're 1894 and 1895, and they're the N300, and I'm also going to talk about the N302s, which are the football version of them. And the N designation, it's 19th century, that's what it means, that they're 19th century cards. So the main card in the set is the Cap Anson. So let me talk to you a little bit about the set, and then we'll take a look a little bit about some of the things that I've discovered on this set, kind of misconceptions on this set. People think it's from 1895, but it actually came out in 1894. And the Mayo Cut Plug includes 40 different cards, different Hall of Famers. It's got Cap Anson, Dan Brothers, John Clarkson, Ed Delahanty, Hugh Duffy, Buck Ewing, some pretty good names. Kid Nichols is in there, and so is John Ward. So it's actually 48 cards, even though there's 40 different players. And the reason for that is that some players, they did with a different, they have a different uniform, because they switched teams. And that's why even though it says that it's an 1895, these were distributed in 1894, along with the 1894 football cards. And the way that these were distributed is they came in an actual tin. And this is what the tin looked like. That's a picture of it there. And in there was tobacco, loose tobacco that was in that tin, and it was used for smoking and for chewing. So you could either roll it up and smoke it, or you could just put it on your cheek and gum and chew it. And it was Mayo, and that's their little trademark. That's how it came. And inside that tin, they put a card in there. And you see the logo on there, Mayo Cut Plug, for chewing and smoking. And this is the Cap Anson card, which is really the number one card in that set, because Cap was the best player of the era of the 19th century, first player to have over 3,000 hits. And I've already shown Cap Anson, but I wanted to talk more about the set and why is it from 1894. And the reason is, it comes back to a player like this, like Buck Ewing. Now, Buck Ewing, this says in 1895. But actually, Buck Ewing was in Cleveland in 1894. And in 1895, he was with Cincinnati. So you're going to find his card, you're going to find Buck Ewing's card in this Mayo set. Also with the Cincinnati shirt, Cincinnati uniform, which was actually an 1895 issue. So this one was actually produced in 1894. This particular card, because it's got the Cleveland, and there's like I said, 8 other players that have variations. So whether they produced them in 1894 or 1895, they may have produced them and then changed over. They may have produced, since Cap Anson was the same team, they could have just produced 2 years in a row with him with the Chicago. And then what they did was in 1894, they produced Buck Ewing with Cleveland. And then in 1895, they produced Buck Ewing with Cincinnati. So, and there's a few other players like that. But Buck Ewing is one of the ones that is kind of the main one. And then Dan Brothers also appears in Baltimore and Louisville. And a few others, Jack Glasscock, Louisville and Pittsburgh. And some other no-namer guys like that, that. And then there's an Amos Russi card that was misspelled, and then it was corrected later. And, at the same time that they produced those cards, they produced the 1894 football. And this is the N302 John Dunlop card. And this one is the rarest football card ever because it was an error card and they forgot to put the name and the school on the card. And I've shown other football cards of that shows it, but you could see it here. You could see it here, the name. They're produced the same, they're the same card, same size. And they're sepia tone photographs. Sepia and some are actually more black and white photos. But you can see the Mayo Cut Plug there. And you see how it says Ewing. This one says Ewing. Here, it should have said John Dunlop or Dunlop, Harvard. But it didn't say that. So they pulled this from the print, and then they produced the other cards of the football. And football's very similar to the baseball, exactly the same look, same size cards. I mean, you could see that they're both the same exact size, even though this was a little beat up here. You'll see. See, they're the same size cards. They're the same size cards. They were printed the same and inserted in those pack of cards, in the tin of cards. So, these are bigger than the regular T206 cards because these are 1 5/8 by 2 7/8. So they're actually much bigger, but they were put in that huge tin. And that's why you see them, that they were able to make bigger cards because they were not inserted in cigarettes or cigarette packs like most of the other ones were. And, these are just some examples of these cards from the 1894 and 1895. And again, there were about 40 cards produced, 40 players produced of the baseball. And the football also is about the same amount. I think it was also 40, I'll double check on that. But this card in particular was when they started printing them, similar to what happened with the Honus Wagner in baseball and what happened with even the Eddie Plank, where supposedly the theory is that the plate broke and they stopped printing them. When they started printing this card, they noticed that they had forgotten the name, so they pulled it off the printing press, and the other ones continued to print on that. And the football ones even though it's a college, it's got some players there. It's got Poe, which is the nephew of Edgar Allan Poe, in there, and a couple of other guys. One of the guys that I have is 80, he is actually in the Tennis Hall of Fame. I should have pulled that card out and showed that. And that has his name and the school that they went to. But this particular card is very rare. And the backs of these cards are all black back. All of them are black backs. So you could see what they look like. And some of the problems with these cards are, of course, that, since they are the black borders, what do people do? But they color the black borders. And that's what happened to this one. So that's why it says altered on there. I looked at it carefully, and someone very carefully, you could probably see it there, tried to color that border there and didn't do a good job. But you could see when you look on the side, you could kind of tell. See here, you don't see that, but on this side, you can see a little bit of coloring added on there. And that's kind of what happened here. Well, this one is obvious. Somebody tried to color up here. Some idiot tried to color up here on this beautiful, super rare card, which there are only 10 of these cards known to exist. So, and this takes me back to Craig, Midlife Sports Cards. He did a video, I think it was yesterday, on someone asked a question. Should I buy altered or should I buy a card with a grade on it. And, you know, nobody wants to buy an altered card. Nobody wants to buy something that's been trimmed and things like that. But I think you have to look at the rarity of the card. And I think you have to look at, you know, your collecting habits, basically what you want. Some people will never buy this authentic card because it's been altered, it's been colored. But this card is so rare, there's only 10 out there known. This is only the second one that I've seen in the last 20 years that had come up for sale. So when you have a card like this, whether it's altered or what, as long as it's authentic, I'm gonna go for that card. And it looks good. Yes, it does have a crease right there. You can see that big crease down the middle, and it does have this. But the picture on that card from 1894, it's impressive. I mean, you know, it's a beautiful picture, and it survived 130 years. So that's why you see the crease in the back there. You can see that crease that goes on there. But so for me, that's the issue. And then, you know, go for a card that's not as rare. Well, these are rare anyway, but, you know, not as rare as this. I mean, this is you know, the number one, in my opinion, other than the Beecher card, which is the first football card ever produced. This is should be the second most valuable vintage football card. It's just, this guy was an incredible player. He was a coach, and he was a star player at the time. And his card was taken off the press, and only 10 are known to exist. So that's the rarest thing about that card. And you know, it's just one of those things. I'm going to hang on to this card forever because it's one of my favorites, along with these. So let's talk about these two. You got two cards right here. You got two cards. You tell me what you would, you know, what you think. Okay, here's a Cap Anson, and that Cap Anson was graded a 2. You could see how pretty it's beat up. It's a 2. It's beat up. Maybe it's even overgraded because it's missing paper, right? A lot of paper right here. But these cards are notoriously tough to find. And tough to find even in this condition, you know. So here's the authentic altered with a little bit of coloring that was added to that. So, in my opinion, if I could find an Anson that looked like this, I'd trade the 2 for it. In my opinion, because the look of that card, which is literally you know, almost a near mint card there, even though it does have a little color added. But a card from this year, this rare, I mean, I'll take an authentic altered. And this is a beautiful card too. And because it's a 2, it's a better card than this by a couple of grades, if you go that route. But if you go by eye appeal, you know, you could see the difference. So me, yeah, I prefer the grade. I always go for the grade if I can get the grade. You know, that's my opinion. But when I find a beautiful card like this, that's authentic altered, you know, you got to go for it. And I'll pay up for a card like this, even though it's authentic altered. You know, I'll pay a 1 or maybe even a 2 price. Well, it depends on the card, prices. But to me, this is a beautiful card. So that's my thoughts on that. It really depends on the rarity of the cards. And yeah, I do have altered cards in my collection. One, because it's so rare. It's the only way I'm going to be able to get it or afford it. And one, because it's just such a beautiful card that the alteration on it doesn't bother me at all. So those are my thoughts on that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit about the 1894 and 1895 Mayos, which technically they are both produced from 1894 through 1895. So, you know, should this say 1894 and this 1895? We know this one was in 1894 because of the Cleveland. The one produced in 1895 had Cincinnati, and this was the same. So just a thought, share some stuff with you guys. So thanks for watching, guys. This is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. Please like and subscribe if you like my videos, and especially comment. What do you guys think? You know, would you rather have this Buck Ewing in this condition, with a grade of a 1? Or, you know, you tell me. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome, awesome day. This is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. Thanks so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate it, guys. Catch you on the next one.